In today's video, we're taking a look at a whole bunch of end tackle components from a company that's been going for as long as I've been carp fishing. Often classed as culty or a little bit under the radar, it's time we lift the lid on a brand new revamped range from Atomic Tackle. Let's get into the video. So for me personally, the use of Atomic Tackle components within my angling started many years ago, far too many than what we're going to mention today. And basically I was in search for the perfect chod hook. After trying many different ones that were on the market, I came across none other than the Chodder. A perfect hook. It was exactly what I was looking for. Super sharp, super strong and reliable, and of course reasonably priced. And so I used the Chodder hook pattern for all of my hinge stiff rig and chod angling. But unfortunately the tackle shop that I used to purchase them from shut down, and I didn't see the Atomic Tackle range in any other shop locally, so I just kind of thought they'd fallen to the same fate as the tackle shop. But as it turns out, they were still going behind the scenes and were offering a direct supply service via their website. Now, when Atomic were on the scene before, they had a very good range of core items. So you had a couple of different hook patterns, a couple of hook link materials. It was enough to get the job done in most situations. This time around, however, there is a very complete range. And when I say complete, I mean they have got everything. Leg clips, all the different hook patterns you could possibly ever need, hook link materials, putty, PVA bits, zigger liners, you name it, they do it. You are covered for every scenario. Now, because that range is so massive, there is no way I could go through every single bit with you guys in this video. It would be a 45-minute video and you would most definitely get sick of my voice. But what I will do is take a couple of key components that I would use within my own angling and have been using it since the parcel arrived. I even managed to bank a fish on them as well. So I will show you those, and then at the end of this video I'm going to tie up a very simple but effective rig that I use in probably 95% of my fishing situations. So let's get into it. First up, we're going to talk all about the jelly wire. The jelly wire is a highly abrasion resistant, heavyweight and supple hook link material. Not only is the coating extremely easy to strip, but it doesn't tear when you bed down knots. But that is not what makes this hook link material stand out from the crowd. That coating is actually translucent, meaning that this hook link looks far thinner in diameter than any other hook link material on the market that is of the same breaking strain. It incorporates a finely woven Dyneema outer core, which is wrapped around none other than strands of Kevlar. This hook link is basically indestructible. If you need something strong, reliable, something that you know is going to get the job done, then jelly wire is something you need to take a look at. Available in 3 different breaking strains, 15, 25 and 35 pound, and 3 different matte colours. Jelly wire has certainly stood the test of time, and this is basically exactly the same as the original all those many moons ago. It has been the first choice for many pro anglers on the circuit for years and years. The name has changed slightly. This is now jelly wire soft, and of course that would imply that there is also a jelly wire stiff. Now the soft one, as I said, is exactly the same as the original, so it's something that we all know and love. The stiff version offers just a little bit more rigidity, which of course ties in nicely with the modern day sort of balanced resetting carp rigs we all like to incorporate into our angling. Now, I'm pretty certain that everybody has got a spool of coated braid in their tackle box, but if coated braids are not your thing, then make sure to check out the rest of the Atomic range on their website. There are various different fluorocarbon options, chod filament options, and of course, an extremely supple, uncoated braid, perfect for solid bag presentations. Now, for the rig that we're going to talk about at the end of the video, this supple hook link material is absolutely perfect. And we're going to pair that with a wide gate beaked point hook, and that is where the Grabbas come into play. Now, the entire range of Atomic hooks are surgically sharp and ultra reliable, but the Grabba for me has got a couple of key features that really do lend itself to my angling. Firstly, let's talk about a beaked point hook. Now, I am a firm believer that a beaked point hook will put more fish on the bank for you. Think of anything in nature that needs to grab and keep hold of something, like an eagle's talon, for example. They've got an extremely long swooping curve, and then the end of it is just slightly beaked in to make sure that it gets a nice firm grip. And as I say, I truly believe a beak point hook will land you more fish, especially if you're fishing somewhere that is barbless only. The inturned eye of the Grabba hook is also a massive advantage. Now, normally people say that it's because they like the hook to sort of flip and take hold, but for this particular rig, it doesn't really flip and take hold. But what that intern eye enables you to do is make sure that the hair is exiting in the correct place. And the final thing that drew my attention to the Grabba hook was the wire gauge. Now, these are very, very slightly thicker in wire, which means these are designed for weedy and snaggy situations. Anywhere where you need to hit and hold and get that fish away from danger, a hook like this is going to do the job. It's going to be 100% reliable. It's not going to let you down. And that is really what Atomic Tackle is all based on. They just want kit that does the job, and at the end of the day, that's what we all want as anglers as well. All of the Atomic hooks are available in multiple sizes, and as I said, there is a pattern for every single type of rig. So whether you like to fish a hinge stiff rig, a Ronnie rig, or your standard blowback, there is something in the range for you, and all of them are PTFE coated, meaning that the points on these hooks are going to stay sharper for longer. At the end of the day, that means you're going to have to buy less packets of hooks, which means it's saving you money. Definitely a win in my eyes. Now, it's all very well having a super effective rig, but if you don't get a pickup, it doesn't get its time to shine, and that is where the Anchor Tungsten Putty comes in. Super heavy, extremely pliable, until of course it goes in the water, in which it basically goes rock solid. This stuff sticks like that stuff to a blanket. It's not coming off, it's super heavy, and it goes a really long way to helping with rig concealment. Again, available in a couple of different colours, so you can tailor it to your fishing situation. Now, I'm extremely fussy when it comes to tungsten putty, and I seem to have got through near enough every single brand that's on the market. This stuff is up there with the best of them. So, yep, this is definitely going to be something which is a regular part of my tackle box. Now, as some of you have probably already figured out, the rig that I've been hinting at through this entire video is none other than the KD rig. A rig that I've used for so much of my fishing. It has caught me so many fish that basically I couldn't possibly not have it in my armoury now. It's super simple to tie, but also offers me something that a lot of anglers are not using, and that is a very supple but also inconspicuous rig. Ronnie rigs, hinge stiff rigs, chod rigs, they're all popped up, normally with a bright pop-up on it, whereas I do like something that's just a little bit more subtle, and I find it tends to catch out the more wary fish. Now, the problem with a KD rig is that hair, being an eye-tied hair and being quite long, is prone to tangles. And the perfect way to alleviate that issue is with a 3-bait stringer, which in turn brings us perfectly onto another Atomic Tackle product, and that is the dissolvable PVA tape. 10mm in width and 20m spools, and it's a perfect blend between sort of strength and stretchy. I really like PVA tape to have a bit of stretch, so that when you do your double overhand knots, you give it a little tug and they really bed down into each other, and it gives you the ability to create an extremely tight PVA stringer. Also within the range, PVA mesh, PVA bags and PVA zip ties, which basically are all there and all designed to make sure that your PVA fishing is extremely efficient. So, as I promised, my ever faithful KD rig. Now, if you guys haven't tied one of these before, I'll let you know straight off the bat that it is super simple, and that is part of the reason why I use it in so much of my angling. So when it comes to tying one of these, as I said, it is super simple. First of all, you just need to take 20 inches of the jelly wire, cut it off the spool, and then just strip a section of around 6 inches of that coating. Once you've done that, you just need to create a small hair loop in the uncoated section and then thread your braid through the back of the Grabba hook. Now, the whole idea of the KD rig is that the hair comes almost directly off of the eye, and it creates that hook point to be really heavy. And a heavy hook point does exactly what you'd think it would do, and it will drop once it's into the fish's mouth. So to create that style of whipping, I carry out basically a standard knotless knot. But after I've whipped it round just twice, I pull that hair out of the way and then continue to whip down after the hair. So 2 above the hair, 2 whips above the hair, pull the hair out of the way, and then do another 5 whips underneath it. And it gives you that eye-tied style hair. Obviously then pass the braid back through the eye of the hook, always towards the point to make sure that you've got the rig sitting in the correct positioning. And then quite simply move down to the other end, where I like to create a very large loop. Now this negates the need for a anti-tangle sleeve, and also when you're using the 3-bait stringer method, it makes it easy to be able to loop this rig on and off of your lead system without sort of any faffing around. And then just add a couple of blobs of putty to the rig just to help keep it pinned down to the lake bed. As I said earlier, the Anchor rig putty from Atomic is fantastic. It molds very easily and is super sticky. As I mentioned, the PVA tape from Atomic is nice and strong, and what it enables you to do is basically pull it through all 3 baits without the PVA tape snapping. Believe it or not, that is something that happens on a fairly regular basis with other tapes, and it can be extremely frustrating. Now you've got your 3 baits onto your PVA string, you just need to do an overhand knot. And basically what this is going to do is pull the baits into almost like a small sort of pyramid formation. Once that's done and you've got it tight, do a second overhand knot, again keeping it tight. You need to keep this triangular formation as tight as possible because it is what's going to stop your rig tangling on the cast. Trim off the tag ends, and then you end up with a nice neat triangle shape like that with a small hole in the middle. That hole in the middle, you're literally going to pass the loop end of your hook link through and just slide the stringer down all the way to when you get to the hook, and then you'll poke the eye of the hook up through the center part of the stringer, and it will just sit perfectly like that. So you've got your 3-bait stringer, you've got your hook bait just underneath, and that is going to keep everything in the perfect place for the cast. I can assure you, if you put this into your angling and you present it in the right areas of a lake, this will catch you more fish because it is so different and so simple compared to what everyone else is doing. Sometimes simplicity really is the key to banking the extra fish. If you like this video, you found it at all helpful, please make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, hit that bell notification icon for more videos just like this. Don't forget to pop over to the Atomic Tackle website because they've got so much stuff that you need to look at within their range, and all of it is absolutely fantastic. I'm super impressed. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much.